Let's talk some shit.
All right, welcome to episode 2 of Earth 718. Today we have some important things to talk about, being as it is Pride Month. So this episode we are going to be discussing the LGBTQ plus community in comic books, comic book movies, comic book television, all things comic media related. In today's panel we have some familiar faces, a new face, just a few people that are going to help us discuss this issue.
Face or voice?
Voices, because you guys don't know what we look like. That makes more sense.
At least, hopefully,
some
of you.
Hopefully. As we did discuss before, though, this is a podcast of which some members of the party will be drunk. This time, I guess it's my turn. Regardless, we will be talking about representation of the LGBTQ plus community and why it's important that it gets represented properly in comics. And not just properly, but vastly as well. So we're going to start off with just the introductions of the panel we have here today. I'll start off as, the person who talks too much. I am Bidon. We will keep this going. To my left is...
Nico.
To my right...
Zaku.
And directly in front of me...
Delilah.
All right. So, to start off this beautiful discussion... let's just have a conversation about the LGBTQ plus community. Does anyone have anything they want to start off with? Just talk about any experiences you have with it, personal, mentions about it,
Every
favorite
gay
characters.
Friend I have is awesome.
All right,
that's it.
Agreed. That was very general. If you'd like to expand on it.
General, every single friend that I have that's gay is just a really cool person to be with. Like, I always look forward to hanging out with them. They're just awesome. Especially the dudes. Oh my god, they're awesome. I love them so much.
It's usually
their personality, their attitude, their sassiness. Yeah.
That's an assumption, and we will not have that at this table.
An assumption.
You're assuming that they are all sassy.
My friends are. I'm not talking about all of them.
I'm trying to trigger you because we're in the first 5 minutes of this, and if I don't trigger you 3 minutes in, then clearly I'm not doing my job.
Well, you already failed because you said we're in the first 5 minutes of this, and so we passed the 3-minute mark.
Actually, no.
You.
Oh, okay.
I'm
Never
the
mind.
drunk one.
Never mind.
My guy. Leave the fucking comments.
My dude.
My dude. To the drunk one. But yeah. Nico.
Mm-hmm.
You're ready.
I already fucked. You see, we have names, and I fucked up.
Okay,
instantly.
we're gonna be doing introductions. See? Nico is Nick.
Say you just gave away my government name.
Oh
That's
man,
it.
they're gonna get hunted by the Trump supporters now.
Yep, we are.
It's gonna happen.
That's it.
But yes, any experience?
Somebody get that boy Nicholas.
Make America gay again.
Make America gay again, because it's always
make
been
it happy again.
the 70s. It was so gay. The 80s, it was so gay, and then what happened? White people. I mean, sorry.
And we lost
all the white
viewers. We'll get them back.
Let's shut up and eat this pizza.
We love T-Swizzle. I'll be back.
Nico, you were gonna say something. I'm gonna eat this pizza while you talk.
Okay, but so what was the please?
What is your personal experience with the LGBTQ plus community? Anything you would like to share, talk about that community that makes you,
I mean, to go along, with Isaac, I met a lot of his gay friends, and they're cool people, so like they're fun to be around and stuff like that. So I mean, I don't see what's the big deal. Like, I don't get why people,
shout outs to my boy Chris Atkins.
Like, I don't get why people come down so hard, on their lifestyles, especially like real conservative people. I'm like, I don't get it. I'm like, listen, they're not. This shouldn't be an issue. I'm like, you should be allowed to live your life. You should be allowed to love whoever you want to love. Like, why do you care? Like, I don't get why are you all up in their business. So
you see what you just said there, man. It's like they're real people that we're talking about.
That's crazy.
Who would have thought that they're like human?
These are people.
Who would have thought that they're real people?
Right?
They got
like,
real emotions.
I'm surprised too. I just thought we were all human beings.
Right?
What are you?
Human.
Get the fuck out of here.
Who would have thought? Do you, Delilah, have anything to share with us at this point in time? Anything you would like to talk about the LGBTQ? It's gonna take me like 8 years to get this right, and this is fucking.
Plus community.
Thank you. Like, you can't say that.
I just say the gays. That's way too many syllables.
I know some prefer queer.
I know.
The gays. That sounds kind of derogatory.
Yeah, I know.
Hey.
What are you?
The gays.
Hey, man. That's a.
Alright, so how about I call them the fabs?
What are we talking about today? The gays.
I love this.
How awesome the gays are.
As we're saying, look at you guys over here mansplaining yourselves. We're trying to get a woman to speak. I'm gonna shut up now.
Spleek. That's the word of the day.
Spleek. I'm just a boy speaking to a girl, trying to tell her that I love her.
That's the word of the day. Spleek.
As you're gonna say.
Personally, I feel like it's hard to be in the LGBTQ plus community because I am a queer. So with me being a queer, it
She's
has
the
a lot
Q.
I am the Q.
It's the last letter before the plus.
Hey.
Now let's stop mansplaining, please. I'm trying to get on track here.
So
Man, spleeking.
Fuck you. All right.
So with being in that community, it does get hard because there are some negative people in my life. Well, they don't mean to be negative, but it comes off negative. And it's hard sometimes, but then I think of the positive people that support me, which is my friends, my family, and mainly my sisters that keep me pushing. Well, all my siblings in general just keep me pushing, so.
That's good. That's always good to have, and that's the thing. It's not always just about, it's not about the small fraction of people that try to hold you back. It's about the collective of positivity that comes towards you, which is something that I've heard a lot about people from the community. It's.
I mean, I think in general that's just any struggle.
Yeah.
You know, being a minority. Well, I mean, obviously being a minority in this case, they're the sexual minority.
It's true.
You know, so it's like
minority.
Any human struggle, it always comes down to just the support you have around you for you to overcome that.
It's very, very true.
Well, not even the support, but like within your inner self too, on how you can handle it.
Yeah.
Because if you can't handle it yourself, then nobody can teach you how to handle it but you. So
Mm-hmm.
if you can't get over
You
it,
can't
then
carry you all their life.
Mm-hmm.
if you can't get over it, then
Or I'm about to drop you right now. For those that don't know,
Say too much. You
For
gave
those
me
that
a
don't know,
bruise.
she is my she's my baby niece.
You gave me a bruise.
No, she's my baby niece on my mom's side of the family.
Which, for some reason, means he can be a piece of shit to her. Which I agree with, because anyone can be a piece of shit to anyone in their family.
I'm her uncle.
So long as it comes from a place of love.
I'm her uncle / older brother, so I could get away with it. So I could be mean to her.
It's allowed. It's allowed.
No, it's not.
I'm not abusive to you.
Oh, you're just like punching me a lot.
Yeah, I toughen you up. That's not abuse.
And then
There
he
is
feeds you.
there is no such thing as abuse unless it is misuse. If you planned it properly to say those mean things, then good shit on you.
Hey, I'm just saying when
do
you.
not condone any form of abuse.
Hey,
I'm kidding for
No.
anyone who's listening. That was just me trying to like use a play on words that clearly makes me sound like I
Because for a
fucking
second,
love.
that sounded very serious. And like, he really
I
meant
just
it.
condoned the murder of people.
I'm just
literally.
right.
So that's all right. Shit.
I'm just saying that,
That
you know,
means I need to drink.
when you were younger and your sister Raven was younger too, I was rough with both of you.
I better remember that.
Yeah, okay, and what happened, right? Raven's playing rugby very well for a very
Bro,
good
she is
school in the
murdering
country,
people on the field.
right? You are what belt you are in Taekwondo?
3rd degree brown.
There you go, 3rd degree brown. So probably in the next 6 months, 8 months, you'd be a black belt, something like that. Next year.
Yeah, and hopefully by next year or.
Okay, and you're what? You're 15,
16.
16. So what? So by the time she's 18, she's gonna be a black
I'm a
belt.
grown woman.
So she could take a punch and get back up and fight back. So I feel like I've done my job.
That's snaps to that. I think that's a good way for us to transition into the next moment in this.
Not feel pain.
Wow.
So, moving on to our topic of the day. that connects
The
to
gays.
that connects to the theme of the queer community, the gay community, the LGBTQ plus. Because we're not leaving out Jughead, because Jughead, all right, Jughead's the fucking man. Asexual, we add that in there, adding that plus. I'm fucking talking too much. Why do we even let me talk in front of? Regardless,
And just go, man. Just do you.
I'm gonna do me.
We're done.
We're not gonna cut this. You know why?
just
Because
do
the people
you.
need to hear
the word.
host to be a belligerent person. It's gonna happen every few episodes.
Yeah, that's
Stop
fine.
hesitating and just talk.
Let's go.
I'm speaking as well as I can.
Speaking. Word of the day. Speaking.
Take a drink every time you hear that.
Drinking game now.
Okay, drinking games are always allowed. So, moving on to our topic at hand. The representation of the LGBTQ plus community in comics. I know we had a discussion about this earlier today, just about various characters. Jughead being one I already mentioned as an asexual character in Riverdale now, even though it has been mentioned. He is a comic character coming from Archie Comics. North Star from Marvel, if I'm correct.
Yes.
Colossus. Colossus
From the Ultimate
Ultimates,
X-Men.
even though that's an
Yes.
alternate-ish
It's
timeline.
not canon.
It's not
but,
canon.
but it's still a Marvel. You know,
still-
and it was very successful.
Still
So,
counts. If we put them on the back of the article, it's okay because they were there.
Hey, not only they were there, but
Sounds
that
like some
Ultimate
fucking-
X-Men was very successful.
Still
so,
sounds like some
so.
fucking propaganda to me, no matter what color it is. Chris Hathaway from Harbinger Renegades, a great example of a badass lesbian character, very open about herself and very badass. She just kicks ass. And then, of course, and then Iceman being outed by Jean Grey,
Which was
one of
news to me. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
The conversation literally goes. He talks about Magic being like really hot.
Magneto's daughter.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Jean Grey's just like, why do you do that? And he's like, do what? And she's just kind of like that, saying she's hot thing. And he's just like, what are you talking about? And she's like, aren't you like, gay? And her like, I gave her like a Canadian
Oh, yeah,
accent,
I
I did that.
Sorry, so this is the Jean, because Jean Grey died and was resurrected like what 5-6 times already. So if I remember,
This is before Jean Grey died the last time.
The last time.
Because she's currently dead, if I'm correct.
but I'm saying, but didn't somebody go back in time?
Everyone's dead right now.
But I'm saying, but didn't like Beast go back in time?
Man.
And I don't know, the X-Men
Do I
continuity
look like I
confuses
read
me.
comics? Says the fucking guy in a Spider-Man t-shirt.
Hey, I'm just saying, the X-Men continuity confuses me. I try to keep up, but I try my best. That's what I'm gonna say. I try my best.
Yeah. I mean, you probably know more about the
Okay.
fucking...
But regardless, Jean Grey is always Jean Grey.
She's
So yes,
always
we know
fucking
Jean Grey. Yes.
Yeah, but she just outs him. I mean, mind you, it was a one-on-one conversation, so she wasn't really outing him, but she was outing him to the public, the audience, which is important. But yeah, I mean, thinking about it, that's kind of all we have to work with
For now.
for now. There are more options out there. Some that we know of. Indie Comics also has a vast majority of LGBTQ characters.
I mean,
but
they will come up with more because just like our real society, the tide is changing. Where that's like going to be more. I hate to say acceptable because and make it sound like that is like taboo, but it make it sound more. How can I put this? Mainstream.
mainstream.
You know what I'm saying?
It's true. I mean, just thinking about it. I mean, do you guys have any ideas? I'm pointing at people, but no one fucking understands that I can point because I'm on voice. But Izaku, Delilah, is there anyone that you can think of in present comic book media that is representative of the LGBTQ plus community?
I'm more interested, no offense, Isaac, but in what you have to say because you're younger, so it's like now it's like you're I'm 16.
The voice of the millennials.
So
We just
I'm listen. You know this. If your birthday wasn't on Facebook, I won't ever wish you.
I
your
guess
birthday,
I'm not
right?
the only one drinking today.
So I'm more interested in what you got to say, just because it's like, you were born in what 2001. Okay, so around that time, that's when society really started to change.
Yeah.
So So now it's like you're not even an adult yet, but yet it's like your lifestyle, the way you think about yourself, is becoming more and more acceptable in everyday, just everyday society, everyday people, right? So it's like, what do you think of everything that's going on in society, and how would you think, like, if there's a major superhero character that is
LGBTQ
plus?
I have it written down here if you need some help.
Thank you. So how would you feel? Would that make any difference in terms of like major America acceptance of it?
I feel like if there was some type of, whether it was a lesbian, gay, transgendered, queer, demisexual, asexual, and so forth, superhero, I feel like that would make everything easier, but it'll be harder. But not for us, but like it'll be harder for homophobics to finally accept, like, wow, the LGBTQ plus community.
Come on, get it right.
You having trouble yourself, don't comment. But like, I feel like they'll have more of a problem with it because they realize that we're coming more out and it's becoming an actual thing. And especially if it becomes an actual thing in superheroes, kids, like little kids, are gonna want this doll or action figure, and they're gonna want to play with it. And some parents might have a problem with it because they don't want their child to be exposed to something so young, when now it's just like a normal everyday thing, seeing a transgendered girl or transgendered boy, or seeing two men walk down the street holding hands. Like, that shouldn't be anyone's problem, or like they shouldn't have no comments. But if a superhero was to come out and it'll show little boys and girls, like, okay, this is okay. Like, there's nothing wrong with what's going on with me or you, or if you feel the way I feel, then that's okay, because at the end of the day, you're still a superhero, and that's all that matters, within you.
We should just end the fucking podcast there.
Right?
Are you kidding me? That was
Okay,
shining statement.
I got a follow-up question, because I've debated myself with this over the years. So I'm gonna put this. What would you rather prefer, right? If they take an existing character that's been around since like the 60s and 70s, right? And
I'm going to interrupt you.
Go ahead.
I'm going to interrupt you, and I'm going to ask you to hold on to that.
Okay.
Because our last segment of the episode is going to be how we can improve it. What would make that right? What would make representation, like, great? And I think that this is a question that we can save for that, because this is a very leading question that I think that the whole panel can work on.
Got it. Okay.
I really do save it. I hope you're not too drunk to remember. I hope I'm not too drunk to remember. Izaku, if this is a problem, if I forget, please remind us. But I think this is a good question, because it really is an important question.
I'll save it.
What the fuck was I going to say next? Okay, TV shows. Comics television right now. Whether Marvel or DC, as minimal as DC is with that shit right now, and in a successful way. How do we feel about the representation of the LGBTQ plus community in comic book television? We can talk about Flash, we can talk about Gotham, we can talk about
well, I mean, I don't
anything. If it pops up on your TV, talk about it.
I mean, I'm just gonna say it right now, I don't watch Gotham just because I disagree with the existence of that show. But
isn't Alfred Australian?
I just not to divert the topic, but I just disagree with it from the very beginning.
So we'll put that show on the back burner.
I mean, you don't have to. It's just me.
No,
you know what I'm saying? I mean, I heard it's a great show.
I'm in agreement.
I just disagree with a lot.
I'm in agreement with you on that.
Uh-huh.
Although I do hear that what's this guy's name? The one who plays Penguin.
Oh yeah, well yeah.
Cowpot.
I think he's the only one that I agree with. He's the only thing.
Of, like,
yeah,
a good.
He's the only one I agree with. Their interpretation of it. He's the only one.
All right, so then the other shows. Arrow.
Yeah.
Legends of Tomorrow.
Are there any?
Yeah. I mean, I guess I could talk about this.
Yeah, because I'm like I watch more of the Marvel TV shows than the DC ones.
Black Canary's sister, who was the first Black Canary, actually.
Mm-hmm. You're talking about older sister?
It's not Lorelai's from Gilmore Girls. Why am I trying to say Lorelai? Moral Orals, the show on Adult Swim. Jesus, this is where my brain's going. Well, whoever the fuck it was that played Black Canary recently on the show, like the sister of the girl that died, regardless. This is confusing. The show's fucking confusing. That's why no one understands what's happening.
Talking about Arrow?
But in Arrow, yeah. Okay. Black Canary, the very first one in the show, was a lesbian. Very openly so. She dated Ra's al Ghul's daughter. Not Talia, the other one.
Oh my god.
She, very openly.
Yeah,
like they were,
I forgot her name.
Like, very openly in a relationship. And she's now a main character on Legends of Tomorrow. White Canary is what she went by when she came back from the dead.
Okay.
And there are multiple episodes of her going back in time and, you know, having these flings with other women. And the women themselves talking about how difficult it is to grow up in the fucking, like, 40s and not being able to fulfill the urges of wanting to be a woman. Because, I mean, not urges, but to just be in love with another woman.
Well, yeah, I mean, society was very, especially American society, was very conservative back then.
Yeah, I mean,
now we consider it conservative, but back then that was just the way it is, you know.
I think that's one thing that Legends of Tomorrow does very well. They had an episode that talked about like what it felt like to be a slave and shit. It's a real fucking. This is a show about comic book heroes. Who cares about like the portrayal of slavery or the LGBTQ community? Everyone. That's why they did it. Because everyone cares. Because the small percentage of people...
Now you do.
Now you do.
Hey,
if you don't know, now you know.
Comic books is built upon human stories on a grand scale.
A great foundation of human stories.
Exactly. And that's what makes them relatable for... I mean, think about the X-Men. Right? I mean, these are... originally, you know what I'm saying? We're talking about, like, they go back as far as World War II. A lot of these characters originated in World War II, you know? Like, Magneto was a child in an internment camp. Yeah. Right? And, now, excuse me, if they changed it, or if I'm remembering incorrectly, but I believe in one of the stories, it could have been the cartoon, X-Men Evolution, but Captain America and Wolverine broke Magneto out of the internment camp. But that's still relatable today. Yeah. Right? And now, now it's still going to be relatable because obviously, like your generation know about World War II, but it probably doesn't hit you as hard as it hits us. Because you're
I'm the middle ground, so I got.
Well, I'm saying, but we're all millennials here. She's not. She's Generation Z. She comes after us. Whoa.
Keep going.
All right.
Bad sip. Right. Holy shit.
So it's like, like for us, it'll be like a big thing is like a generation before us was the JFK assassination. Yeah, so we know about it and we understand how impactful it was.
It just never hit us.
Exactly. It doesn't hit us as how we know it's history. We understand it's a big deal.
The whole Princess Diana effect.
Exactly. Same thing.
My mom used to tell me all the time about like I was so sad when it happened.
Yeah.
I don't agree. Like in my opinion, like seeing Trump win was like holy shit, my heart. But that was her heart. Right now, she's just like, nigga, I'm used to this. I understand this.
My mom and my dad tell me, like, they remember the exact thing they were doing when JFK was assassinated. Because that was so impactful in the country. And we could say that about 9/11. We remember exactly what we were doing when 9/11 happened. So, to bring it back to the Holocaust, like, we understand it because we had relatives that probably all fought in the war. My grandfathers fought in the war. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure, some of your family members fought in the war too. So we heard stories and this, that, and it was such a lot of destruction, a lot of deaths that, a lot of decisions that were made during that war are still being felt today. So we understand it. But for generations like you, Generation Z, you get it, but it's like, okay, that's more of a bygone era. So with comic books, like, you like the X-Men, right? Mm-hmm. All right, so he likes the X-Men, but at some point they're gonna have to alter it because, let's say, like your kids, they're gonna be like, "What was World War II? What was the Holocaust?" They're gonna get it, but then it's not gonna hit them here.
It's a far off subject.
You know what I'm saying? And at that time, like by the time you have kids, hopefully like 20, 30 years from now, right? So what are we talking about? What it will be like 2050-ish, 45, 50-ish.
Jesus Christ, those are future numbers.
But I'm just saying, but Magneto's not going to be like 130, 140 years old still being Magneto. They're going to have to alter the story a little bit so it can still be impactful.
That's the thing. That's the thing that's really important about comics right now. Especially, we tend to focus a lot on Marvel here. A lot of us here are I would say, are specifically, like, we've just grew up watching so much Marvel, reading so much X-Men, that's what we kind of...
Marvel and DC.
That's what we direct to. I mean, I agree with DC, but even then, like, I love DC, but I just lead towards Marvel.
Well, I
because
mean,
there's just so much to go off of there.
You know, if we want to go with the stereotype, DC, what was it? DC is like more gods, and Marvel is more of just humans.
Yeah,
you know?
Which is, I mean, it's great. I mean, the X-Men alone.
And essentially Batman is a god at this point.
Yeah.
So
speaking of the X-Men, the current thing is that Kitty Pryde, Shadowcat, is the leader of the X-Men.
What?
Which is yeah.
For real?
Yeah, I believe it happened in X-Men Gold. I don't know if they continued it. I'm like fucking at this point 5 issues behind.
Wasn't that old news?
But
I could have sworn she was already like the leader.
X-Men Gold 1, if I'm correct, which came out a few months ago, solidified her as the leader of the X-Men. I might be...
Wow. I'm honestly shocked.
I might be fucked up. I actually was part of a podcast of which it was mentioned that she was the new leader and how this affected things. Because people were just pissed. They're like, a woman lead a bunch of young mutants into doing good?
Hold on.
A Jewish woman?
Women can't lead nothing.
Women can do things.
They're always ineffective leaders.
Women can say go there and do that. What the fuck? It's dumb. But
that's stupid.
It is
dumb. That they put Storm in charge of the X-Men. Who the hell's gonna argue that?
No one, because A, she's a black woman. B, she is older. So they're just gonna be like, oh, you know, she knows enough at this point in her life.
Young white girl leading the X-Men. Now it's a problem.
A young Jewish girl, even though they never say she's Jewish, because that was put on the back burner. Because who cares about Jews?
Women can't lead effective organizations. They make. There's not one example of history of women leading effectively. Shout outs to Angela Merkel of Germany.
There you go.
There you go, right
Boom.
there.
Also, the Iron Lady was like, she was just like mean, but she was also amazing. Like, she was just like, I ain't taking shit from anyone. Regardless, the thing that really tainted her, like, you know, I'm the leader moment in X-Men Gold was the fact X-Men Gold or blue. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below. This isn't YouTube. Oh wow. Yellow, Wolverine. All Wolverine based.
We'll give you the address to send hate mail.
But the thing that made her like really messed up the fact that she was a leader was the fact that the issue of which she had that big speech in front of a group of like diverse people was the fact that the artist for that comic is the same one who added a bunch of Islamic hate speech.
Oh yeah, I heard about
the
that.
Comic. It was that same issue of which she's giving a speech and she's like, she wasn't even saying like I'm the leader. She was just talking about like shit. But that tainted it, and I mean, I guess people felt some type of way because of that, because of the fact that she's a woman, because of the fact that she's Jewish and no one talks about it. But she's the leader now, and it's just that's a sign of like. Yeah, Professor X is dead. Probably going to come back tomorrow. Jean Grey is
because Resco has his brain, right?
Cyclops is dead. Everyone is dead.
Wait, I thought Cyclops jumped ship to the Brotherhood.
He might have, but I thought...
I mean, the last I heard, again, is X-Men.
How long ago was this?
I know... Oh, man, when he had, like, his visor was the giant X. Oh, yeah. You know?
I think it's a little bit after that.
Okay.
He gets killed. He gets killed, and that kind of leads Emma Frost to like lose her shit. Okay. She gets rid of the is it the Terrigen that turns the Inhumans?
Yes.
She like obliterates every single trace of the Terrigen, which leads the Inhumans to have to flee the planet, which is great, like story building, because they're like, our people can't evolve anymore. There's no way of this happening.
So they went back to the moon, right? That's where they came from, the moon?
they just went into a ship and were like, we're gonna find their origins because no one knows what's happening. Black Bolt's wife, what was her name? Medusa. Her hair was starting to fall out, and her special thing was that her hair was like as strong as the strongest thing imaginable.
Yeah.
And the first issue, great issue because it has a variant cover of Frank Ocean's album Blonde, which everyone should listen to. Shout out Frank Ocean. And it's just like the end of the issue is just like her holding her hair and just being like, "I'm dying," and it's like you're like the queen of the Inhumans. What's going on here?
Literally, she is the queen.
So off topic, but regardless, it's a matter of representation. Representation is important for everyone, and
Of course.
like the fact that Kitty Pryde is leading the X-Men, which I think is great because not only is she a woman, she's also very young for a leader, which means it's going to lead to so much trial and error, many issues.
Remember who was
help develop her.
Remember who was her mentor at one point. Oh.
Wolverine.
Exactly.
No, she's going to be great. No, that's the thing.
For someone who's a loner, this dude joined a bunch of teams.
I mean, I made the argument that I think that she's going to be a great leader. I just think that it's going to be like a roller coaster ride at the beginning.
Yeah. So many.
Hey, Colossus, go this way. And punch a wall.
So let me ask you this:
Oops, you killed 5 people.
The team she's leading, like these are like the next generation X-Men.
I believe it's the next generation.
Okay.
Next generation.
Okay.
I don't think she can't be leading Wolverine because
because
Wolverine canon now is fucking white hair, old as shit, and
that's true.
Has his own life problems he's dealing with.
And isn't he mentoring like X-23 now?
Yeah. He's also like he's also doing his own, like he's just on a life journey. Is what I'm going to call it.
Always?
But this is like a real life journey because it's Old Man Logan going back in time to change the fucking future so he doesn't get wrecked.
Right.
It's kind of like when Dave Chappelle went to Africa.
Just he went on a life adventure. Okay, I'm going to shut up now. This has been going on too long. It hasn't. It's okay. We're talking about.
We're good.
Yeah, we're good. We moved on to our second conversation more than we should have. We didn't focus on.
Hold on, before we go on, you got any thoughts? You've been quiet.
Delilah,
You've been quiet for like 10 minutes now.
Let this white man stop talking. So that's what I sound
let's
like.
Let's let the younger
Taking
generation voices be heard.
The millennial.
She's not. We're millennial. She's not a millennial.
Generation LGBTQ+.
She's Generation Z.
Generation Z.
Generation gay.
You're the voice of your generation right now. What you got to say?
I don't know because
You don't know. You don't know. Oh.
when you guys are talking about like how eventually they're gonna have to change up the stories for, I guess, my kids' generation.
Yeah, to be relatable to you guys.
Yeah, so it's like when they switch up. I don't know. I was just thinking about it. It's not related to what we talking about. But when they switch up the story, they're probably gonna make it to the problem similar to what's going on with the government now.
Okay, so alright, so let me pick your brain a little bit. So obviously you know the X-Men origins of a lot of them because of the movies and stuff like that. Right now, if someone from Marvel asks you like, okay, we want to make X-Men more relatable to your generation, what can we say Magneto's origins came from? I mean, let's say they still want to play up like, you know, the whole thing like he's been like
suffering.
He's been suffering. He's been segregated. He's been discriminated against. But World War II is like, okay, that's too far for you to be relatable.
It's gonna be what's happening now.
Okay.
The government, like what's going on with Trump.
What is happening?
Okay.
Now? For all our listeners who are listening from 2012 and 2036.
I was about to say like 2012. What?
I pulled the Wolverine. I went back in time.
Wait, you boost the gold?
I'm stealing all the knowledge of the past. Like 2036, if they had to look back and be like, oh shit, what would it be? Discuss the issue that will change.
So basically, what I remember that night, it was Donald Trump versus Hillary Clinton. And they were going at it for president. When I fell asleep, I remember half the votes. It was a tie basically. I woke up, and it was like the perfect setting for it to remind me of a movie. That was great, but it wasn't great that day. But anyways, so basically it was cloudy. It was rainy. It wasn't even rainy. I think it was just really cloudy that day. And like we found out that Donald Trump was president, and like I remember that day perfectly because my whole school was shut down from teachers not wanting to really teach, but they had to teach. But they basically talked about Donald Trump and talked about a lot of students being worried because of their parents being immigrants, or just being a person of color is hard, or even just being a woman, because apparently Donald Trump made an example of how you can just go up to a woman and like
Grab him by the pussy.
Yeah, said it.
Do whatever you want.
Yeah. So like, you know, a lot of girls were scared. I wasn't, because no one's gonna touch me, but that's not the point of this.
You're about to throw them hands
About
out
to
there.
throw his hands.
Yo, I wish
Yeah.
him
Like, year and a half from now, I'm being blackballed. I dare you to fuck with me right now.
That's bad. So if they was to ask me how I would want a moral story to go, I would just say base it off of what's happening now and what's going on within the government, and then just add a superhero that it just all ties to it.
Okay, so let me ask you this now. I hope this doesn't go into the latter end of this discussion, but you know, I'm gonna save that question. I'm not gonna ask that. I'm not gonna ask the question you told me to save.
You can save that. Yeah, we're
but I'm saying, all right.
representation.
So now to be more relatable to your generation, and I thought about this too. So how would you feel, right? Let's say if they restart. Let's say in 20 years they restarted the X-Men completely, and they made it more modern. So let's say, how would you feel like if they say? I know we're getting off topic here, but if they made Magneto, let's say Arab, right? And instead of being a Jew in an internment camp in Germany and somewhere in Eastern Europe, he was an Arab that was captured by American forces, and he was put in Guantanamo in Cuba. And you know, obviously, you know, you could tell the same story. And he breaks out, blah, blah, blah. But how would you feel about that? They changed Magneto's nationality. It changed his heritage from being a Jewish guy to being a Middle Eastern guy.
I feel like I wouldn't be so offended by it, because not everyone's the same in that concept. Like, because you know the religion and how people have what's that called again?
What?
Stereotypes?
Yeah, that's the word. Stereotypes.
Yeah, baby,
That's the one.
Yeah, stereotypes. So it's just like I wouldn't think much of it unless they show his background of like a reason on why he's there. Like it's really bad. But like that's not really being stereotypes. That's just being real and like.
Oh yeah.
So like besides that, I wouldn't feel so much offended.
Okay.
But I know other people that's probably ignorant. Is gonna like have a comment about it, like why they switching it up. They shouldn't do that.
I mean,
I
don't think it's not even ignorant, because I am a comic book purist in some regard. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel
So you want your white people white?
No. I just feel like in some instances I do feel like.
Or it's gonna offend a lot of people.
No, not even that. I feel like it is, in a way, I feel like it is the lazy way out. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're going to take an existing character that's been around for like 50, 60 years, and they're going to change his race. And I get it. And that's where storytelling comes. It's like, okay, you can sell me on a story. Like, if it makes sense to the story, I'll buy into it. But if it's going to be like, all right, we're just going to do it, blah, blah, blah. Like, to me, that's the lazy way. I'm like, no, like, start from the ground up. Create a new character, develop it, blah, blah, blah. So
yeah, we had this talk in episode 1 about that, where we were talking about
Miles Morales.
essentially how the comic book industry is kind of just abusing this idea of, you know, already well-developed characters suddenly getting a reboot just into these different, you know, races or religions or sexual orientation just because it's relevant in society at the time. So like, the rise of, you know, the idea of people being gay becoming not taboo, and all of a sudden every other month, this hero's gay, this hero's gay, this hero might be gay. Oh boy, we'll find out next issue.
Can I interrupt?
Of course.
Go ahead.
So, I know we're going to be talking about comic book heroes, but I don't know a lot about that. So I'm going to compare it to my princesses, because that's what I do know about.
Disney?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's like,
Do it.
I'm going to compare it because, like you guys said, they're abusing their use of the character. But as of like,
characteristic.
the characteristics of the superhero, and I get it too because like when it comes to Disney too, like they start from the ground up with princesses from like their backgrounds, and they'll compare it to any of the other princesses. But they have their own princesses, they have their own race, they have their own hair color, style of dress, family, back history, etc., etc. So like I understand where you guys are coming from with like they're abusing the power of the superhero. Because I'm pretty sure if they was to change around Princess Jasmine, I would be kind of mad. Like you can't just switch up for her being in I think Egypt, and then like switch her into being American. Like that's
Jasmine.
Yeah, she's coming from
Aladdin.
Arabia.
Arabia. Yeah.
Close enough.
Yeah.
I mean, Egypt is considered Middle East, right?
that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get what y'all guys are saying.
Yeah, like, I mean, nah, this isn't really. This is more the fact that now people are offended by how Jasmine shows midriff.
Which is a fucking age-old shut the fuck up issue. Because
Parents bring their kids to Disney.
And you never
like,
saw the first Aladdin.
Belly button.
And you never saw the
Rated
first
R.
Aladdin. It's actually scary though, because I was like at work and these fucking kids were watching a movie, The Mouse Detective, which is a Disney 1986 movie. Great movie, but also I bet you didn't notice when you were a little kid that there's a scene of the villain smoking a cigarette, and then one of his henchmen is just blasted drunk and calls him a bat, and he gets upset and feeds him to a cat. Smoking a cigarette, drunk as shit, blast on TV, made for humor. Try to get away with that shit now in Frozen. Try to get away with it in Frozen. Doesn't work. It's just, I mean, people are just
smoking.
now,
You can still get away with, feeding somebody to a cat.
Yeah, well,
but you can't get away with
smoking and drinking.
No, you can't do that. You can't do that anymore.
But yeah, I mean, think about it in the sense of characters like Miles Morales or the female Thor or Asian Hulk, something Chu was his name? I forgot what his name was.
But see, I ain't got a problem with that.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's
Because they're different characters.
They are,
yeah.
But you also have to admit that it is a little bit lazy to say, oh, we're gonna have. I mean, I guess in the sense of like millennials, needing a new character to don the suit, it works.
Yeah.
But it is lazy in a sense of why can't you just create a whole new character that represents the Asian community, that represents women, that represents the LGBTQ community, rather than just taking the suit and putting it on them and trying to argue that this is their character. It doesn't work that way.
The biggest difference right now with Marvel and DC. Marvel is just changing old characters into what's relevant now. DC, Wonder Woman. Like, instead of making Batman a woman, which I think people would probably murder a couple of.
Well,
DC
Batman will become a black guy before we. I mean, we have a Batwoman.
Black guy wearing a black suit in a black time of day. Are we going that way?
See, I was gonna make a joke.
Starting to sound a lot like Cloak and Dagger from Marvel.
I was gonna make a joke, but I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah, but like where I was getting at is like, at least DC, they simply just told a good story with Wonder Woman to make people realize, like, holy crap, look at this female superhero that we've known all these years, kicking ass alongside with the big guys. Rather than what Marvel's doing, which is redoing
and redoing.
Okay, you got Thor. Well, we're gonna sit him down. We have female Thor now.
Well, see, Marvel. Sorry to interject, but Marvel is, from what I hear. I mean, I haven't looked up the information as of late, but Marvel has the whole Marvel Legacy section that they're developing, which Secret Empire is supposed to lead into, which is the next generation of heroes that they're going to focus on. They're going to be mentored by the heroes of old, aka Hulk and and Thor and Iron Man.
Teach you how to get angry.
And I mean, I'm gonna.
But see, and this is what I'm saying. Like, I don't have, because you got to think. To me, I think of it like Batman. At some point, you got to give up.
Shut up about Batman.
No, I'm saying, but listen, at some point, you have to give up the man. You have to pass. Now, like, just like in Gotham City, there must always be a Batman. Whether it's Bruce Wayne, Dick Grayson, or Damian Wayne. Always must be a Batman, right? So, what's the new Iron Man? It's a black...
Ironheart.
Ironheart.
Yeah, that's Sorry, I'm eating pizza, so I sound.
That's her name, Ironheart.
Riri Williams.
Yeah, that's her name. Okay, well, I didn't know. Well, I'm just saying,
Ironheart.
regardless. Now it's a black teenage girl.
Yeah, but
I'm saying, but they're all
gotta
different.
change that.
But my problem is, I'm cool with that. I have no problem with that. My problem is, for example, is like when they casted Michael B. Jordan to be the Human Torch. It's the same character, but they changed everything. You know what I'm saying? They changed the nationality of it. Yeah. And I saw the movie. I didn't think it was as bad as people said it was. I understand what they were trying to do, and it would have been. I could see how it would have been hot, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
But it's like, to me, that's lazy. Like, now we're gonna take the Human Torch, the same name, same everything,
same family,
and change his nationality. And it's like, well, okay, yes, obviously it shouldn't be an issue, but let's be real, like it sort of is.
Yeah.
Because now to change the whole dynamic of that family.
We're in agreement. I do agree that it's kind of a half-assed way of just being like, we gave you what you wanted.
We gave you a black Human Torch.
I mean, it's the same thing people said about Wonder Woman being such a great success as a movie. They're like, there you go. You got your movie. Now shut up for 10 years until we make the next.
But Wonder Woman was always a woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is the thing, is that people refuse to give up those names. I mean, even now, Bruce Wayne, old as shit, thinking of proposing to fucking...
Well, in the comics, he's like in his late 30s, early 40s.
Yeah, proposing to who?
Catwoman. Yeah.
He's getting married, supposedly. Not going to happen. We all know this shit. But
he might.
But guess what? He's probably...
Remember, he did this because his parents and his father told him, be happy.
Yeah, but guess what? He's probably still going to be Batman. So what happened there? Nothing. Spider-Man. We still have Peter Parker being an old fuck.
But he's mentoring.
He's mentoring Miles Morales.
Exactly.
But guess what?
What?
I guarantee you, in 2 years, Miles Morales is going to fucking move to another city and be the Spider-Man of Chicago and shit.
No.
And Peter Parker's still going to be in New York.
I'm going to disagree with you on that one.
They're going to make him fucking live forever. What happened to Superman? Superman gets killed off. Biggest fucking news of the millennium. Comes back not too long after because people refuse to let go. Sherlock Holmes, perfect example of a character.
Because storytelling wasn't there. Now we have legit characters that could take up those mantles.
This is the problem, though. It's not about storytelling. Mm-hmm. It isn't about storytelling. Yeah, you can tell a great story. You can be a great writer that tells it. But what they really care about is the money. Sherlock Holmes.
True, this is the business.
Arthur Conan Doyle, the creator of Sherlock Holmes, hated the fucking character. He hated the idea of Sherlock Holmes. He did not give a fuck about this guy doing his job and just saving lives and shit. All he cared about was money. Mm-hmm. Arthur Conan Doyle killed off Sherlock Holmes, and his last story gets killed off by Moriarty. What happens? Not too long after, people mourn him. People were just pissed that Sherlock Holmes was killed off. Yeah. Pissed off. That sounds weird. But he was killed off. Arthur Conan Doyle's like, I guess I still need money. Comes back, writes more stories. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's the same thing that happens. In comedy. Same cycle. There's no integrity.
It's always a business. You always have to give the audience what they want.
Agreed. We are so far off topic.
And I don't think we're not, because all this is related to the industry. All this is related to the industry we're talking about.
Yeah, it's true.
And it also affects the main topic of this. You know what I'm saying? Because if there's no demand for characters like this, they're not going to do it.
Because the risk is more than what they think they can gain, which is not true. Because if you're willing to risk it, it will lead to just better.
Yeah. And now there's demand because you know what I'm saying, the
pendulum is
LGBTQ plus community is increasing.
The pendulum is swinging
every day, every year. It is increasing. So now there's more of a demand for these characters for representation within these universes.
I think this is a good point for us to transition to our next topic. I'm going to go to Isaac to start this one off. Then we'll go to Delilah.
The voice of her generation.
We'll go to me, maybe. I will promise I'll talk for no more than a minute. And then we can end on Nico. Izaku, the question I'm going to ask you is, in the sense of representation for the LGBTQ plus community, how can we improve representation of that in comic books, in comic television, comic movie, in the entire comic industry? How can we fix the problem that there's not enough?
For me, it's a very simple solution that can apply to not just the comic book industry, but just society in general. Don't make a big deal about it. Someone's gay, okay, so that's their choice. There doesn't need to be an uproar. We don't need to see people blow it up on Facebook like Beyonce just had another child. Like, who cares? That's it. It's something that happens in life in general. We don't need this. Like, prime example, Overwatch. Tracer, when it was announced that she was gay, for like a week everybody was blowing it up. Oh my god, yes, Tracer's gay. We have a gay character in Overwatch. Who cares?
No one expanded on it.
Now you're making it a big deal. So now you're giving people a reason to hate on it too. Like, as soon as something blows up, there's always going to be somebody to hate it. There's always going to be haters. If you're successful, you'll have your fans, you'll have your haters. If you're making somebody being gay a big deal, you have people that are happy for them, and then people are going to be like, fuck them. Just because they're gay, they get more attention than I do. I don't give a fuck.
What was that? The scientific law? I forgot who said
Murphy's Law?
No. Is it where there's action, there's an equal and opposite reaction?
There you go. Like, to me, that's the solution. Like, not just in comic book, but everywhere. Let's stop making it a big deal.
Yeah, that's the scary thing is if you look at Netflix, I had a friend tell me this. Shout out to one of my close friends, Andrew Blackburn.
Shout out to Netflix.
shout out to Netflix. Shout
Promo code. No, we ain't got that yet.
He years ago, I'm going to say at least 4 years ago, was just like, I've been just streaming my way through the Netflix LGBTQ section. And guess what? Every single one of these fucking movies, if they're a comedy, romance, drama, whatever, they all have a shitty ending that usually ends with one of the characters dying, who happens to be a gay character. Why is that a thing? That makes no sense. Why can't they have a fucking, like a normal love story where shit works out well? It never does. Regardless, Delilah, how do you think they can improve on this?
Okay. Well.
No pressure. You're only the voice of your generation.
No pressure at all. One way to improve about the LGBTQ plus community.
Answering this like an essay question and shit.
Yeah, right.
Because that gives me time to think about this.
I feel. What was that? Was it that beauty pageant contestant? What'd she say? Oh,
I feel that America
that one.
is the greatest country because it has
people
that really like to do things.
I feel that spiritually.
Feel that spiritually?
Yeah.
That we really like to do things?
But wait,
As
okay.
you were.
Wait, okay. Since you guys just mocked me about the way I was starting.
Be confident, girl. You're the voice of your generation.
The way they could make the community better, though, is just... one, obviously, stop dying off the gay characters at the end of every LGBTQ plus movie ever. Because... I'm going a little off topic because this is great.
Trust me, you ain't the first time.
I know.
You ain't the first one to do it. Ain't the first time.
My ass talked for 5 minutes straight.
So, I was talking to Nico earlier when we was out eating. I was telling him how there's a new face to the gay community. For those of you guys ain't know.
I know
it's
about
Babadook.
Babadook.
I know about this. I had no idea who this character
I
was.
want to explain to y'all how it happened because it's such an interesting story that I just found out about not too long ago. So, basically, Babadook's movie is a scary movie on Netflix. Just look up Babadook, you'll find it. And it was placed in the LGBTQ plus section on Netflix in the sections. And so nobody really understood why until someone, I guess, cracked the code or whatever. Because Babadook is hidden inside the closet. Obviously, the community's hidden inside the closet. And then there's a mom and little boy. And basically, Babadook represents how the family may react to you coming out the closet. And all scared and stuff like that. But it's all about representation because obviously the movie shows violence and stuff like that. But if you look at it a different way, you get it. So anyways, basically Babadook now is the face of this community. If you have yet to see it, just go on Facebook and look hashtag Babadook Pride or whatever, and you'll just see it. You'll see him happy as hell, and in the movie he's not a very happy character, and maybe towards the end when they still hide him in the basement. So basically, the family is ashamed of Babadook, and that also represents of like some families of how they treat their kids with this new information about them.
What's crazy about this, and sorry to interject, but what's crazy is that, like, if I read correctly, this was literally an accident that Netflix made. Like, they put it into that section by accident.
Yeah.
Because they're just, like, their employees were probably, like, asleep on, like, a Friday at, like, 12
They
p.m.
wanted
and
to
they were
go
like,
home.
oh,
Hey.
shit, I'm gonna throw that there.
We've all had them days.
But people looked into it, and it became this whole movement. This whole,
And
like,
now he's at Pride parades.
literally everywhere.
And I'm probably going to see him tomorrow, well, later today, at the New York Pride Parade. So.
AKA June 25th on a Sunday.
Yeah, because right now
2017.
it is 1:57 Eastern Standard Time a.m.
today.
Who knows when we're gonna upload this?
We'll upload it in the next 3 years when,
Everybody else dies down.
yeah.
Shout outs to
I was
2020.
gonna say when RuPaul is president, obviously, because like it's gonna happen now.
Wait, hold on. 20? No,
What?
3 years.
no. The Rock.
The Rock.
The Rock is gonna be president in 2020.
I don't think so.
Dude, it's gonna be The Rock versus Kanye. It's gonna be lit.
And Mark Cuban's
Whoa,
gonna be
whoa,
there
whoa.
too.
Who's gonna be the Republican?
Kanye.
All right, back on topic. The lady was finishing her statement.
I'm Mr. Old Kanye.
As
So,
you were.
yeah, I want to share that story. But in ways to improve the community, it's just like for people to mind their business. Literally, mind your business. Like, why are you worrying about who I like or what I'm doing with my partner, what my partner wants to do with their body? At the end of the day, it's just like, are you living in that skin? No. Are you like their brain or something? Are you like going to guide them every day with their hand? Are you walking down the street with them? Or are you just in their skin, period? I think the hell not. So it's just like, mind your business.
Oh, PG. We keeping this PG, yo.
Hell is not.
Watch your fucking language.
Alright, well, anyways. So, but in ways to improve it in comic wise, I feel like they should be on their way to doing that if they want to catch up with my generation. Because at the end of the day, it's just like, it's not even like what celebrities are doing anymore. It's more like what's going on in movies and shows. So,
And I think that was a great response. I think that was great.
I am great, thank you.
Dude,
Wow.
we're not going that far.
You see where you started now?
The response was
response
great.
right
Whether it came from a great person, we can argue in episode
And
15. Nico, I open it up to you.
Can I ask
how
him
do
a
you
question
how
now?
do you think you most certainly can answer
Thank
your
you.
question.
Okay, so now.
Thank you, because I forgot I was too drunk to think.
So now, you, Delilah,
me,
You.
right?
the one waving the flag. For
Yeah, she's been holding. What's the correct
The
title for
rainbow
that flag?
This is the pride flag.
She's been holding the pride flag all day. Like, we went to a protest. I forget when we did it. When we got the flag and we came back with it.
It's a flag that you wave around when you're really proud, right?
Yeah. Only when you're proud.
And it's been here ever since. And she's going to the parade tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm walking.
So she's been holding the flag ever since she got here, which is like at around 1:30
And watch, tomorrow she's gonna
in
forget
the
to
afternoon.
put the
She's been holding
No,
it ever
not at
since.
all.
It's literally 2 a.m.
I'm saying she put it down. She put it down every now and again, but for most of the day, she's been holding it upright.
Pride.
She's like one of the Queen's Guard. Like, she's been holding it upright the whole time. Anyway, so I want to know, like, from you. All right, so now, what would you think would be better in terms of representation for any major comic book publisher, company, whatever, to take an existing character and all of a sudden, 40, 50, 60 years later, make him gay, or just be original and just start a brand new character, start from the ground up and build up there, knowing that it's probably going to take, really 3, 5, 10 years for that character to stick within like the mainstream comic book community. So what would you prefer in terms of representation?
I would prefer to start from the ground up because, okay, yeah, you could take Batman and then make him colorful. You could take Spider-Man, make him colorful. You could take from DC, you could take Flash. Is from DC, right?
Mm-hmm.
You could take Flash and make him colorful. Arrow, make him colorful. Supergirl, make her colorful. But like, it's not gonna be the same as to building the superhero from the ground up, because that would, one, I'm gonna speak on behalf of myself and maybe some of the community that agrees with me. It's gonna feel good. It's gonna be like, wow, we, after all these years, we done came our way for you guys to think of a character for us, and that's gonna most likely stick to the face of the LGBTQ plus
LGBT.
Seeing a character that represents the whole community rise up in the ranks is much better than just saying, okay, here's an already powerful character, but now he's with you.
Now,
guys.
do you think that community can be patient enough to wait, like, at least a decade for that character to be like
patient enough? Though
I feel like if they make a character, it's just gonna be over. They're gonna take advantage of that character as much as they're taking advantage of Babadook right now. Babadook's all over the internet. Imagine a gay superhero, or even a trans superhero, like whether it's a girl or guy, or like they want to be described as they or them. That's gonna be a big step. That's gonna be a big step for us. Like, waving this flag around is a big step for us. Like, we just started waving this flag around, and a lot of people are so proud to wave this flag around, especially the fact that there was a problem at first with the flag. And I remember it because a lot of people felt offended about it, because the American flag was colorful, when at the end of the day, both flags, in my opinion, represent freedom and equality. So it shouldn't matter what color the flag is, as long as there's a good meaning behind it, a good reason behind it. But with a character, it should just, my final answer is, it should be built from the ground up. That would mean much more to everyone.
It's in the sense of, when I say Spider-Man, what name do you think of first?
Parker.
Peter Parker's the first thing you think of. Do you really give a shit about Miles Morales? When I say,
I actually do.
I mean, I'm sure you do. Many people do. But
Which one?
I mean,
second question to that. Now, and you say you prefer original.
Nick, did he just interrupt?
I did just interrupt you. I'm gonna let you finish.
But she has a better response.
Yeah, word.
Jeez.
She's the voice of her generation.
Oh, damn.
I'm the voice of the LGBTQ plus community.
All right, let's not get that far. Now,
y'all screwed.
Yeah. So you say you prefer original characters. Now, do you prefer like strictly original characters, or you think it's better off, like they say, like you take like passing on the mantle, like, you know, let's say you take like, let's say the next Batman is a gay guy.
Damian Wayne is gay.
He's a completely different character, but he is the next Batman. You know what I'm saying? So what would you prefer?
I mean, that's gonna be great that there's finally a Batman that's gay, but it's still not gonna feel the same with
so you prefer just a completely new and original identity and superhero persona, everything new and original.
Yeah, like it doesn't even, like, the superhero doesn't even have to be like colorful, like the colors of their suit or whatever.
Well, yeah, Batman's not wearing pink. We know that right now.
But like,
goddamn.
He doesn't have to, like, the suit does not have to be colorful at all. Just like a brand new superhero, but just they're gay. Or they're trans.
They shouldn't, because then if they
lesbian.
do that, then they're doing the opposite of, you know, like what I said earlier, making it a big deal. Look, he's gay!
No. Right.
Like, because if you make the suit colorful, then it's just going to be like, what's the point? Like, you're a superhero, we get it.
So, like, now, we're not going to focus on the fact that
they'll see Batman coming from miles away.
Now, we're going to see the fact that, oh, he's gay now. Remember that.
But yeah, because it's like, okay, so it's like, I don't know what to compare it to, but it's like, okay, you are gay, but like you're doing something else. You're not gonna like express that in your clothes either, because gay people just walk around in regular clothes. But
no, they don't.
They're just gay.
They wear nothing but rainbows.
We are falling into territory of queer baiting, which I think is important for us to talk about, because it's the difference of like giving.
Hit it.
I'm gonna fucking hit things, all right?
Don't hit me.
Drinks in
the back.
For the example,
you hit my back and punch you in the face.
Since we haven't talked about Riverdale, which every single fucking person on planet Earth should be watching, CW, check it out. Watch it, because you're not, and it pisses me off. Riverdale is amazing.
Yeah.
It's so good. Asexual character, Jughead. Asexual people have sex too. Just saying. But Riverdale has a moment in it.
Wait, hold on. I'm sorry.
which-
Can we consider Piccolo from
Piccolo-
Dragon Ball Z as asexual?
Asexual? Did he have? I mean,
He doesn't. I
He
mean,
doesn't,
the whole
and he doesn't
Namekian
have.
race, they don't. There's only males, and they just
They just
they
spit
just
eggs.
You don't-
they spit eggs.
you don't think they have relationships though with other Namekians?
I mean, they do clearly.
yeah. So then they're not asexual. They're just
Oh, okay.
sexual.
Okay.
I mean, their race doesn't have women, so
Okay.
we're just gonna call it sexual.
Okay.
I mean,
All right.
there's no way to determine sex, so that's
So
different.
asexual
There-
is just having no relationship.
Asexual is just, and forgive me if I'm blowing this into
No,
a direction
no
that is
forgiveness.
impossible, but
No forgiveness.
no forgiveness.
We'll send you the hate mail after. Hate mail
go
address
home
after
me,
this.
but asexual is.
We'll give you his Twitter.
It's just kind of a lack of attraction to sexual activity, but it doesn't mean that they don't have sex. Like there are so many asexual people out there that do have sex with their
So
partners,
But they're not
for the-
attracted to them.
they don't get the attraction. They don't get the
So they don't have an
sexual feeling.
urge
They don't
of
have the
like.
urge to
Okay.
have sex.
Okay. Got it.
But they are attracted to their partner. They are willing to give them that pleasure.
so
That's why.
that natural instinct of like procreation is like it is. They don't have it.
yeah.
Okay.
And that's why like so many people watched
If we're
Riverdale.
right. If we're right.
If we're right.
Yeah.
So many people watched Riverdale and were like, Jughead making out with a woman about to have sex? How could he? It's like he could still be asexual. They're not changing his character. They're just giving him depth. They're like adding that relationship aspect that doesn't matter. But Riverdale's great because it does. Jughead's great. AKA Cole Sprouse. If you're listening in, call a brother up. We'll play some Overwatch.
We'll give
Just
you-
saying.
We'll give you
But
his Twitter.
he does. Obviously, Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. He does a great job. But yeah, Riverdale's great because it has a character, Kevin, who was a big character in the comics, who is the person that Archie himself takes a bullet for, and that's how Archie Comics ends. Is Archie dies taking a bullet for his
Wait,
friend
seriously?
Kevin. Yeah, he takes a bullet for his friend Kevin,
Didn't know that.
who is the mayor, who happens to be gay.
Huh?
Just happens to be gay.
Okay.
In the show, Riverdale, they don't even talk about it. He's just gay. He just does what he does. There's no conversation
Wait.
of...
So Riverdale is based off the.
It's based off of Archie Comics.
Okay.
It's amazing.
All right.
It's a big dramatic twist to the whole plot line. It's so
All right.
good.
I mean, does
But
it acknowledge like everything that's
characters,
already
yeah.
been written?
It does, like, Pop's chocolate shop exists, The whole show is legitimately
Do
about,
we get
like,
a Bazooka Joe?
I don't think we do.
We don't get a Bazooka
Although
Joe.
they
Okay.
should have a scene of that.
Okay.
But it's important because it has Kevin, who is, in the future of the Archie comics, a very important character. He's the fucking mayor. And Archie takes a bullet for him.
Wow.
That's
Didn't
how
know
Archie
that.
dies. He takes a bullet for
didn't-
Kevin,
didn't know that.
who is the mayor, who happens
See,
to
I didn't know
be
he
gay.
dies because the Archie comics is still going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, the new generation. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
I had no
it's-
idea.
There's reboots and such.
Yeah,
but,
yeah, of course, of course.
The plot line has ended, but
Wow.
the show Riverdale's so good because they kill off. Wow, let me shut up. They don't kill off anyone.
Spoiler alert.
But they develop Kevin so well because he's part of the clique. He's just Kevin. There's no, oh, you're gay. We're gonna beat the shit out of you, and
Yeah.
we're gonna call you words we shouldn't call you.
Yeah.
And we're gonna talk about the fact that you sleep with guys. No.
Yeah.
He's just Kevin.
He's just Kevin.
It's naturally built. The issue is that there is also signs of queer baiting in the show. We do have a scene of which Veronica and Betty kiss for no reason. Veronica and Betty, of course, are
Yes.
the characters of which Archie is always having that love triangle with.
Mm-hmm.
But there's that scene of unnecessary kissing between two...
Yeah.
During the
Two...
cheerleading trial.
Yeah. Which is...
She tried
Well, of course. I mean, how
She was trying to make them look
how
rebellious.
how
but-
else are you gonna attract the 18 to 34 demographic?
But the thing is that it's tryouts. They're trying to be rebellious. Now you're painting that as a rebellious act and not just something else. Obviously, yeah, in the sense of the show, it was rebellious, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
It meant nothing. It is queer baiting.
And if you're making it rebellious, you're making it seem like it's not
It's not
natural.
Okay, yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
There's some issues with that show, of course, that needs to be talked about. Not in this episode, because that's for a whole other issue. Any final statements? I believe you asked enough questions to count as your statement. My statement, I already talked enough about Riverdale, so clearly I have some issues.
Just rip me off.
We're gonna do this. Everyone get one statement, no follow-up questions. Just end it however you like. We're gonna start with Nico, then we'll go to Izaku, then we'll go to me, then we'll end on Delilah.
End it with the voice.
I don't even know what I'm gonna say.
And from there on, we'll close out with some
come back
shout-outs.
to me. Isaac, go.
All right.
Now you started.
Yeah, well,
I'll start it.
I'm gonna
We'll,
say right
of
now.
course, close out with some statements here, but in the sense of
Closing
representation,
spade and neuter your dogs.
hey, we're making
Control the
some
pet
good
population.
fucking time, so I'm gonna speak my fucking mind. Regardless,
But we ending this and we still got drinks?
we're gonna finish these drinks in the next 5 minutes. All right, clearly.
Y'all chugging.
We get ready because that's why I'm
I'm
talking.
still recovering blood.
My man, my guy, my dude. I was ready to
My
fucking let you start, so you had time to finish your drink, and I had time to finish mine. Guess what? I'm starting, chugging this. You
I got a
going
tattoo
next.
on my spine.
All right.
You realize this, right?
For those of you who are listening in, Nico over here has a tattoo of a ginormous phallic instrument on his back.
The madman.
It's not a phallic. Follow me on Instagram. I'm not giving it though.
It's phallic enough.
Go follow me.
Nico Delgado, the guy, the dude, the guy. That is his Instagram.
That is not my
Government
Instagram.
name.
Government name.
Right, he just shouted me out, yo.
Bam. Now you're
Luckily
boss
for
is
me,
gonna-
there's a lot of them. I look myself up. There's a lot of them.
Hey,
We're all trying to
at
be
least I
you.
said Nico instead of your real name, Nicholas.
Oh, they're gonna hit my back.
And then he
Alright.
says,
All right.
I know, right? Yo,
Closing.
you are
Really
the worst
funny
right now,
question.
man.
You want to post up? We'll post up. We'll make it
Dude, I
live for
can't
the fans.
fight.
We'll video this part and add it to the fucking
my
attachment.
back. I can't fight.
All right. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Never-ending
So
battle.
right now we're gonna start with closing statements. We'll end out with shout outs and closing remarks. My part.
Shout out to the Yankees.
It happens so much.
Y'all
'cause
kicked me out.
You know what it is? It's the
I'm
alcohol.
gonna go back though.
Too much sauce. It's too much.
I just like say your closing statement.
All right.
Keep repeating it.
In the sense of representation for the LGBTQ community, I think it's just important that everyone have a voice, and comics are such a progressive way to do that. We have so many great characters out there that have the ability to represent it, but just aren't taking that extra reach. And I think it's important that writers start to do that. We have too much negativity flowing through the pages at times, whether it be Islamic hate speech, whether it be the lack of inclusion of a character, or whether it be not focusing enough on those characters that are part of the LGBTQ community. I think it's important we make them a big focus, because in a time where our country is suffering so much to focus on the things that matter and instead focusing on the negative. That was a sneeze or a word? I don't know. We'll pretend it didn't happen. Kofefe. I think it's just important for us to focus on this, because our world, whether some people refuse to acknowledge it, is changing in a better direction, no matter how many steps we take back. I think it's a good thing to do. That's what I have to say. Moving on to next. Izaku and Nico, take the mic.
It's funny because our thoughts, our statements on the matter are pretty much somewhat opposite. Where what you just said, we need to put it on a higher pedestal so that people notice it, and then they can start hopefully accepting it from there when they realize that there's really nothing wrong about this. But back to what I said earlier, it really needs to stop being put in a way where it's unorthodox, whoa, this person is gay, or this person's getting a sex change, or this or that. The more we make these things headline news, the more it's just going to be put out there in a way where people are going to constantly just look at it as, like you said earlier, for every positive there's a negative reaction So if we're gonna sit there and talk about how the day Caitlyn Jenner was revealed to the world, it's like, yeah, but there've been people doing that for years, and they've been frowned upon for whatever reason, yet this celebrity, this American hero now does it, and it's like, well, yeah, they get a pass. That's great. But anybody else that does it now, you're either wrong or just a biter. You know, like, oh, you're just doing it because Caitlyn Jenner did it and things like that. And then for the rest of the community as well, it's just, we need to stop making it seem like these things are just out of this world. Like, stop making a big deal about it. Let them live their lives. They just want to live their lives. They're not doing this for the attention, hopefully. And yeah, like, that's pretty much it for me. Like, they need to just stop blowing this up and making it seem like it needs more attention.
All right. Moving on to Nico.
I mean, how do I follow that up?
It's a great response, but you have the fucking floor, so follow it up. Shit.
Jesus Christ.
What do you want me to say? Like,
You man belligerent right now.
You got mad shit to talk about. You ain't gonna do it now? Well,
I think I've said everything I gotta say.
all right. Then
In terms of, like, you know.
do you?
In terms, do you?
You could have just said, do you?
Do you? Alright, that's what I'm gonna say. Do you?
It's all right.
Do you? You know what I'm saying? As long as you're, in my book, as long as you're a positive person in the world, you're contributing positivity to the world, do you?
Positivity is objective. Delilah.
Subjective. Not objective.
Subjective. My cup.
God.
You?
Alright, Delilah, the voice of your generation.
Dope, man.
Wow, how can I follow up with all your statements?
You got the floor.
Well, let me say how I can follow
Start talking about your presidential campaign. Delilah 2040.
Nah, chill. That's too much work.
2044.
Too much work.
Stop with the mansplaining, though.
So,
2048.
nah. Anyways,
Oh.
I'm not running for president. Don't count on that. Don't watch that.
Just watch your emails.
Just watch it. Follow her on SoundCloud.
No SoundCloud.
Twitter.
So,
My
to wrap up my statement, starting with just going back and then coming forward. We was talking about characters. Everyone's right that said that here that talked today that said about how they should either start a new one, or if they just like have a whole new character, a whole new person for the character, then it could come out like that. I personally feel like this should just be a new character, because for me, I would feel happy that people actually took the time out to think of a character, a new superhero, or just a new anything, like Babadook. How Babadook was so deep, like thought out, that amazes me so much. What else? Just thinking of the LGBTQ plus community and how we can improve. There's nothing to improve, honestly, because at the end of the day, guess what? We're all happy. We're all going to find people that's just like us and are going to support us. Whether you're in the closet now and you're too afraid to come out because you're scared of the negativity, or you're scared of the way your family or your friends are going to react, at the end of the day, be proud of who you are, because I didn't wave this flag for about 12 hours for nothing today. 13 because it's 2 in the morning, so 13 hours today. I did not wave this flag for no reason, because I'm not going to sit here and let everyone that's negative, let everyone's negative comments come to me.
Hashtag power positivity.
You right.
Shout out to the New Day.
Oh God, don't. Then just for, I want to just shout out the people that's still in the closet, because I know it's still hard for you, and I'm not gonna sit here and say I know how you feel, because I just came out bluntly. Everyone just found out on their own, whether I shared a photo or they assumed it, and then, or Yeah, so just shout out to everyone in the closet that's so scared to come out. But at the end of the day, guess what? You're still going to be you, and you're still going to do good whether you have support or not. Because guess what? Whether you know me or not, I'm going to support you.
Hashtag do you home.
I think that's a great way to end it here. Before we get to shout outs to the community, all communities at this point, it's really important for us to talk about issues like this, and I think that it's a really good thing to focus on. So whether you're an ally to the LGBTQ community, whether you are part of the LGBTQ plus community, thank you for listening. Whether you even aren't part of any of those communities and you just listen in general,
I hope you learned something listening to us.
If you're a hater or anything, I mean anyone, just thank you for listening and getting at least some information, getting perspective from some people who have different information from all angles. It's important.
Before we end, my final shout outs to you homophobics. I love y'all the most. Y'all keep me motivated.
Love
There
the
you go.
haters.
I love my haters because they make me strong.
I like my dislikes more
So-
than my likes.
Honestly.
For this, before we even ultimately close out, I'm going to open it up to shout outs that anyone has. I'm going to go last on this one. 2 or 3 shout outs. Anyone you want to shout out, I would say go around the circle and we'll get it going. I'll go last.
Shout outs to all my fabulous people out there. Y'all know who you are. I love y'all.
Next, Delilah.
Shout out to my homophobics out there. I love y'all. I love waving my flag in your face because y'all get so mad.
Bringing it back. And Nico.
If you didn't hear me the first time, shout outs to the Yankees for kicking me out. at least I spent $3,000 on y'all in the past 2.5 years, but y'all kicked me out y'all stadium, so thank you for that. I'll be back though.
You got banned because alcoholism and false profiting.
No, I got banned because of white privilege, but we'll get to that.
That's another episode.
We're
I need to
episode
be here
3,
for it.
the Yankees and how they shitted on Nico.
Oh my
It's
god.
like-
Yankees versus comics.
Yeah, Yankees versus Comics.
We definitely need her.
Oh, we so need the sleeper right now. To close out, shout out to some of our past panelists. Shout out to Sterling, who gave us some pretty great input on the first episode, and we hope to see him next. Shout out to my panel that is here today, Nico, Delilah, Izaku, for doing such a great job. I think we had a great discussion today. Shout out to the LGBTQ community.
Yes.
Plus
Yes.
community. Shout
Hope
out
you guys
to
have fun at the parade.
Shout out, yeah. Hope you have fun on the Pride Parade
Hopefully
today.
everybody gets safe.
in about 8 hours.
Hopefully it's a safe parade. Everybody has fun.
10
Everybody gets
hours.
home safely.
Exactly. Shout out to all our allies out there who are supportive of those in the LGBTQ plus community, because there's nothing greater than a community that is supported because it needs it at this point in time when we're in such a crisis in this country. Shout out to all of the people straight up shitting on Trump also. Just throw that one in. And last but not least, shout out to Comicsverse for helping us with this equipment that we have here to get this started. To Justin Alba for pitching me some great ideas for our podcast. And just shout out to anyone who's just cool people.
You're abusing the shout outs.
I know, but as
you need to cut that.
as Grandmaster host, DJ,
Grant.
Whoa. What, you DJ Shaolin right now?
DJ
Shout.
Khaled, I'm the one. Get the fuck out my face, son.
Shout out to the Get Down. I'm sad you guys canceled it, but I understand though.
Alright, well, thanks for listening, guys, and we hope to see you on episode 3, where we will be covering such topics as...
White privilege. Woo!
I was going to say cut it off right there, because they're not going to know. They have to listen for it,
Yeah.
Alright, so
The Yankees.
Let it out.
You won't hear my voice.